Where we give you guys a little something to think about to help your cats live longer, healthier, happier lives. I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian.
And together we are the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. And today, guys, it's all about grooming and bathing your cat. There is a difference. And it's a very important difference that we need to point out because
we actually posted a Q&A about this, and we were talking about the fact that when it comes to bathing our cats, they're fastidious cleaners, and most cats do a good job of bathing themselves. And a lot of what they do when they're bathing themselves is putting their scent on them. The scent is so important. We got so much blowback for this, you guys, and I really honestly appreciated it. A lot of it came from professional groomers, and I understand it because they are dealing with cats that come into their facility that have really that are really suffering needlessly because when they needed a bath or when they needed grooming, it was left unnoticed. So today we really just want to talk about the difference between bathing and grooming and when it is necessary. What we mentioned in that Q&A was that we don't bathe our cats unless it's medically necessary. So I want to kind of broaden that definition. Because I think that there are some really important things that we really don't want to miss, because like so much of that feedback said, wow, our cats can really suffer if we're not paying attention. So
yes, and that's true. And this is true. Your cats can suffer if we're not paying attention. The Q&A that Adrian answered was about how often should I bathe my cat, or how do I bathe my cat without getting scratched all over? And the thing is, guys, is that many cat parents, especially new cat parents, we love you. A lot of us are in the mindset that cats are little dogs, right? And dogs always need to be bathed. And so they think, and I was like this too with my first cat, they think that, we need to go through the bathing session. But that can be difficult with some cats. And it's not actually necessary like it is with the dog.
Well, and I just want to point out that bathing cats like you bathe dogs, like once every week or once every 2 weeks, especially when it's done with a mild human shampoo or a dog shampoo, these are not cat-safe shampoos, and they can really lead to the skin drying issues, and that can actually cause other health issues. Not to mention the fact that cats actually need, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but cats actually need to be fully dried. Their coat is what regulates their temperature. So cat baths are actually kind of a big deal. And the only time that we really recommend, and again, this is our opinion, that we really recommend bathing our cats is when it is needed. And that could be if they get into something that's potentially toxic, like paint or cleaners, if they get into the trash, if they got sprayed by a skunk, if they really need some help getting clean. And
if they're going through something like flea allergy, dermatitis, and they need a dip or a mange or something, something that's medically necessary where they need help.
Yeah, and I think that certainly when it comes to bugs, when we got lice, mites, fleas, that sort of thing, there are a lot of natural topical solutions that can be really helpful dealing with those things, but certainly that would be a time when a bath could be super helpful. Another big reason that we can advocate for cat baths is health conditions that are where our cats are no longer able to bathe themselves. And this can lead to a number of their other health issues. So arthritis is one thing where cats can only get to the areas where they're able to move. Obesity, we've got one that he needs a little help with his bum every now and then. Trying to think.
Older or sickly cats, right? So a cat that's that is just sickly and it is still alive and kicking, but not really not able to bathe themselves, then we can assist them in this process.
And again, like Jay mentioned, something like dermatitis, a skin condition where there needs to be regular bathing in order to maintain health of the skin and the coat. So none of these issues should be ignored. They are all things that we consider, oh, thank you. They are all things that we consider medically necessary because they, not only can they cause suffering, but they can certainly cause additional health issues. So bathing a cat is pretty cut and dry. It's giving your cat a bath. Grooming cats is a bit more in depth, and it's when we think of grooming cats, we think of brushing our cats.
Brushing our cats, right? We have all the different types of all the different the furminator, the wire slicker brush, the flea combs. The lick-a-lotta, what is that?
The licky brush.
The licky
We
brush.
don't actually use that, but we have it, yes. And this is really important for most cats. We want to make sure, especially when it's time to blow their coat, supplemental grooming that we can do by brushing our cats regularly and making sure they're comfortable with being brushed, super important. But grooming in general, especially from so much of the feedback that we receive from professional groomers, it entails so much more than just brushing. It'll start with brushing, usually includes bathing, but it also includes a lot of just general body maintenance, like nail trims, which
we have spent 45 minutes looking for our nail trimmers, and it's on the list today to trim our cat's nails.
Yeah.
We can't find them. Our cats hid them.
They did. But nail trimming is also something that you probably want to do when you need to give your cat a bath as well to minimize any scratching that can be done. But it also, they really meticulously clean the inner ears, the paw pads, all of that.
It might even involve some shaving. When it comes to grooming, and if you need to take your cats to a groomer in order to get the nails trimmed and the skin healthy and things like that, or maybe mats, they can start to get mat sores if we are unable to get them ourselves at home. Getting a professional to help us is really good for that.
It's really helpful, and these are trained professionals. So a lot of people ask us about mats specifically. How do we remove them? And we've got a couple tricks and tips that we've used when we've had to go through that. So this is something that you really want to be careful with. But if you've got a mat, say we've got like a little mat right here, I always find the skin and then put an entire finger above that, and then we'll gently cut the mat out. So I'm nowhere near the skin.
Over the fingers.
Right. And then you can sometimes split the hair apart and it'll actually come up in a tuft. And this is really important because those skin mats can really cause mat sores, those furs. But again, this is something that you want to be comfortable with. You don't want to cause more harm by trying to help or stress. So that's where a professional groomer can really come in. There are certain breeds. We learned from April, the cat coach, how hairless cats have a need for more regular bathing.
Yep.
And there are certain coat types that really do need extra help, that they're just not able to keep up with their coat. This is what we are most familiar with our Mr. Biddles, may he rest in peace. He had an incredibly thick undercoat. And when it was, when spring was coming or when it was time to blow his coat, his undercoat would turn into like a thick felt, and he would mat literally overnight. So all the supplemental grooming in the world was not covering it. We actually would give him a haircut. We called it his summer do.
Yep. And we would shave it, and we did it ourselves, so it didn't look pretty. Like, we're not really big into making sure that our cats look like a specific way. And he was fine with that. We didn't take him to the groomer because they require vaccinations, and we didn't want to cause more harm than the mats would actually cause. So we didn't want to revaccinate him. So we did it ourselves, and he loved it.
I do want to emphasize, though, that haircuts in general, as we mentioned, a cat's coat, whether it's hot or whether it's cold, that's really what helps regulate their body temperature. So we only want to give a cat a haircut when it is medically necessary, not for aesthetics. I know people are like, I'm going to get a lion's cut for my kid. And it's like, why? let's make sure that we're doing what's in the best interest of our cats.
Yes.
So certainly grooming and all that is entailed in grooming our cats can also help mitigate any number of issues. And again, with those underlying health issues, whether it's age, obesity, arthritis, sometimes it's really necessary for us to pay attention. And when we're noticing a change in their coat, maybe it's getting greasy, maybe we're noticing a spot that is matting more regularly, that's where we really need to perhaps consult a groomer, find one that you're comfortable with. A lot of veterinarians have grooming services attached to their practice that can be helpful as well. But it can be very stressful for cats that are not used to it. But it is really important for us to pay attention to it. Again, that feedback that we got, very grateful for, because it is one of those things where you think, well, it's a cat. We get that a lot. It's a cat. They're able to take care of themselves. Not always. And it's really important that we help them when we need to.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize enough in closing here, guys, how important it is if we can get our cats young, or as soon as we get them used to the brush. If you start with just, one of the simple, easy, like hand brushes, and get them used to brushing, and do it on a scheduled basis, do it on a daily basis. Get them used to the brushes and get them liking it. So you do it when you are calm, when you are collected, when maybe you're playing some calm music. If you're doing it at the same time every day, it becomes a ritual for you and your cats. It builds the bond between you and your cat. And if you do it on a regular basis, then it's going to be much easier to catch anything down the road that might come up in the skin area, where we can avoid the bath if we or avoid the stress of the bath if we're getting them used to us handling them and touching them all the time.
Certainly with our long-haired kitties, let's pay extra attention. Our Mr. Pooh Bear loves the slicker brush. I can literally say, it's time, and he will come for his brushes. He's sleeping right now, so I'm not teasing him. But also, really quickly, for those of you that have a condition where you do need to bathe your cat on a regular basis, I really want to encourage you to just search how to bathe a cat. Dr. Karen Becker, she has an incredible, very thorough, covers everything from prepping the bath area, making sure you got the right kind of sink, putting the towel down, clipping the nails, making sure you've got a cat safe shampoo, preferably coconut oil based. And it also takes you through the entire bath. She literally does it live. She goes through the entire bath and then talks about the importance of drying our cats. Not using a hair dryer for cats that don't like hair dryers, but making sure using a series of towels that they're completely dry and in a warm place until they are completely dry.
And it's a fantastic video. So if you're watching this and listen, I know my cat needs a bath and I don't know what to do, go watch that video. It's going to help you tremendously. So that's going to wrap up Think About It Thursday. This Thursday,
thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us. Join us in about 20 minutes. We're going to be meeting with Sally Williams and talking all things Mission Meow for our podcast, Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cats.
We love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye, guys.
Happy Friday Eve.